Now, what I'd like to do is I'd like to present 4 scenarios to you. And I'd like you to, with a simple yes or no answer, tell me whether you would approve of abortion in each of these 4 scenarios. The first scenario involves a 25-year-old woman who clearly knows that her life is in jeopardy because of her pregnancy. Would you approve of abortion in that case?
Okay, well that position, it can't really be answered by a simple yes or no, because it really, it entirely depends on the circumstances of, what is the physical issue that's giving her problem, what is it that's threatening her life, is it cancer, is it an ectopic pregnancy, is it ovarian cysts, or what is the problem?
Well, let's say, for the point of discussion, that her physician has told her, Mary, if you have this child, you will definitely die as you deliver. There is no way around it. Even a cesarean will not help you. We will have to abort the child.
Yeah, well, I don't believe that is a realistic situation. I don't think that ever happens.
Mm-hmm. Okay, here is a second scenario. We have a 14-year-old girl who has been impregnated by her father. Yes, abortion, no abortion. Where do you stand with that?
Do you want to take that one, or do you want to take
well, we take the position that while rape is a horrifying crime against a woman, a vulnerable and innocent woman, to terminate the life of if we believe that the fetus is a human being, to take their life is not a justifiable act, and it doesn't undo the act of rape. For many women who have been raped and then chosen abortion, they've actually found the abortion more traumatizing than the rape, or has caused them more grief than the rape. There are, I personally know several people who were conceived through rape and were adopted, and they're human beings with a right to be here, just like you and I. It's obviously, to carry a rapist child, it must be an incredibly difficult process for a woman to go through, very painful. We need to support her. But if we truly believe that the fetus, the unborn child, is a human being, then to terminate their life is never justified.
So you empathize with the girl, but you would say no to the abortion.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. And I'll just add a little bit.
Yes.
Certainly. Yeah.
If I could, I think again, I echo what Julia said, in that any woman in that position, she needs support. She needs encouragement and support, and she needs help from all levels of government, from family, from friends, from church, from wherever she can get it. It's a horrible situation to be in. But if we're going to punish anybody in that situation, it should be the rapist. It shouldn't be the innocent child. That innocent child should not pay with his life because his father or her father was a rapist. Let's punish the guilty party, not the innocent, defenseless child in the womb.
So let's get another scenario. We have a young woman who is mentally handicapped, and she's impregnated by her caregiver. Would you say yes to her desire for an abortion, or no?
Again, we would say no, because again, that child in the womb is an innocent human being, and taking the life of an innocent human being is never an answer to life's difficult problems. Life is not easy, and we find ourselves in all sorts of difficult situations. But to kill innocent people to try and solve our problems is to me, it's a form of insanity. It's just not something we should be condoning as a society. We need to respect life, no matter the difficult circumstances that are surrounding that life. And
I'm guessing that you would probably say no to the following scenario, in which, let's say, a 16-year-old girl was date raped and became pregnant. You would say no to that as well. Now, when I hear your no's to 2 or 3, clear no's, at least anyway, to some of these scenarios, I wonder if this is not too severe, and that is in the sense of when you say no to these girls and women, it's almost like re-victimizing the victim again.
Yeah, well, you can, yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying, and I understand where you're coming from, and again, these are all very, very difficult life circumstances that you're describing here. I mean, these are tough situations. But essentially, we feel that that child inside the womb has equal value as the child outside the womb. Okay, so the preborn child at 3 months, 4 months, 5 months pregnancy, I think Julia is approximately 5 months pregnant now.
Yeah.
So her child that's living and breathing, processing oxygen, growing, developing inside of her is alive. Okay, it's human because both her parents are human, and species only reproduce after their own kind. So there's no doubt about it, scientifically speaking, that that unborn child is a living human, i.e. a human being.
What I hear you saying is that you equate the pregnancy, the child within the womb, having equal rights to the living born person who was carrying that child.
Exactly. And if we wouldn't kill a newborn child because their mother was a mentally handicapped person who was impregnated by their caregiver, or a 16-year-old girl who was date raped, we wouldn't kill her born child to try and make the 16-year-old's life easier to cope with or easier to handle.
But
because we recognize the value of that born child, and the injustice of taking the life of the born child outweighs, you know, whatever difficult circumstances are surrounding her mother or father or family.
My sense
so
of
we
that
must
is a
be
distinction
so
here.
we must give the same respect and dignity to the unborn child as well.
Here's a distinction that I'm hearing, okay, and I'd like your response to this, and that is that in most cases, when women get pregnant, they have gotten pregnant because they want their child. But in these cases that I've described, the pregnancy was forced upon these females. So should they not logically have the right to decide whether they want to accept what has been forced upon them? It's not something that they invited into their womb.
No.
It's something that was forced into their womb.
Well, I think that there are many women that are not necessarily raped, not necessarily, or you know, that are in a very happy relationship, married even, that still become pregnant when it isn't an ideal time, and that when they weren't planning on it because of, you know, just failures with contraception, whatever.
Yes.
It happens all the time. So, I mean, if we treat all those cases the same, you know, basically we do, you know, in our society we treat all those cases the same way. If a woman doesn't want to be pregnant, she shouldn't have to be pregnant. So, you know, I guess you could technically say that any pregnancy that a woman doesn't want is sort of forced on her.
So, but if coitus is forced upon a woman and she becomes pregnant due to that experience, should she not have the right to say, this was forced upon me, I did not want it, I want an abortion?
Yeah.
I can understand mechanical failures with contraception.
Yeah.
I can understand so-called accidents, you know, in a relationship and so on. But this is forced coitus, forced insemination.
Okay, but let's be clear that less than 1% of all abortions occur because of rape or incest. Like, let's be clear that 94% of abortions that occur out there are for other reasons, you know, birth control reasons, as they say. They're economic reasons, they're educational reasons, relationship status reasons, things like that. So it's a very, very, very small minority of abortions occur because of impregnation through rape or incest. So it's, you know, it's a little bit dishonest way to argue to say that because of this extremely difficult situation, abortion ought to be legal for all situations. You know, you're appealing to that very, very hard case and that's not the pro-abortionist position, is to say it should be legal in only these few little cases here. There are cases that it should be legal in all cases.
Would you be willing to allow only those people who have experienced forced coitus to have the right to abort?
Well, right now, I still believe that it's wrong to kill an innocent child because his father was a rapist. I mean, that's just the hard fact of our position.
Right.
Now, if a law were to come along to say, okay, abortion is going to be illegal in all cases except for rape or incest, well, I would promote that law. I would be totally behind that law because I would be saving 98% of all cases out there. Now, I don't suspect that pro-abortionists would be behind that law because then only about 1% of abortions would be legal in the country. So I don't think they would support that law.
So let's follow up on the legality. Would you support legislation which made abortion a crime?
Well, as a group, you know, we're a non-political group, we're an educational group, so as Kelowna Right to Life Society, we don't take a political position on the issue. Our mandate is strictly to educate on the value and dignity of human life from the moment of conception to the moment of natural death, and that's what we do in our community, and that's what we try and change hearts and minds on the subject. Now, if down the road legislation comes from a majority of people being pro-life, well, that's out of our hands.
But would you, Marlon, as an individual, as the executive director of Right to Life, would you personally support legislation that would make abortion a crime or illegal?
I would support legislation that protects human life from the moment of conception. Okay. So if it's illegal to kill born children right now, which it is, I support that, and I think it should be illegal to kill any innocent human being.